You've been told that luck is random, a twist of fate, a roll of the dice you can't control. But what if I told you there's a pattern to lucky people, and you can step into it on purpose? Not someday, not when circumstances change, now. And that's the truth almost nobody talks about. Blessed beyond chance, the spiritual secret of lucky people. Introduction. Some people call it luck, others call it fortune, but those who have truly lived it call it something else. Favor, divine alignment, grace. It's that invisible current that seems to carry certain people forward. They're in the right place at the right time. They meet the right person without trying. They get opportunities they didn't even know existed. And from the outside, it looks random, like they just got lucky. But if you've ever experienced it, even for a moment, you know the truth. This isn't randomness. This is rhythm. This is relationship. This is a spiritual connection between you, the Creator, and the flow of life itself. The misunderstanding about luck. The world has taught us to treat luck like a lightning strike, unpredictable, uncontrollable, and rare. We hear phrases like, "Some people are born lucky. My luck always runs out." That's just not in the cards for me. And without realizing it, we start living inside those beliefs. We start filtering the world through them. We become the kind of person who expects disappointment. And because we expect it, we find it everywhere. But here's the thing. Heaven doesn't withhold blessings. Opportunities are flowing constantly. More than you could count. More than you could ever take advantage of in one lifetime. The only question is, are you tuned to see them? A spiritual and scientific truth. In Scripture, Proverbs 3:4 says, "Then you will find favor and high esteem in the sight of God and man." This isn't about earning your blessings through endless striving. It's about positioning yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally to be in alignment when they arrive. Spiritually, we call this faith. Scientifically, we call it selective attention. Either way, the result is the same. You start finding what you expect to find. Why this matters right now. In today's world, it's easier than ever to keep score of what's going wrong. Bad news is one scroll away. Fear is profitable, so it's everywhere. If you let the noise program your expectations, you'll wake up each day braced for trouble instead of open to blessing. This is why blessed beyond chance matters. We're not here to simply think positive. We're here to rewire your lens so you naturally expect and receive divine alignment, not just once in a while, but as a way of life. Before we even start chapter 1, I want you to do this. Think of one moment in your life when something aligned perfectly, even if it seemed small. Maybe you got a job at the perfect time. Maybe you ran into someone who became important in your journey. Maybe a setback led to something better than you had planned. That wasn't just chance. That was evidence of what's possible when you're in flow with the divine. Hold that memory. Feel it. Let it remind you, I am not outside of favor. I am already in it. And in the comments, yes, right now, drop one word you want to carry as your spiritual signal this week. Abundance, peace, opportunity, overflow. The moment you name it, your mind and spirit begin looking for it. You are blessed beyond chance. And over the next chapters, you'll learn how to live like it. Chapter 1. The lens of the unlucky. Some people move through life as if blessings chase them. Opportunities appear at just the right moment. Doors open before they knock. Even detours seem to lead somewhere better. Others? They feel like life is always one step ahead, and not in a good way. The bus leaves just before they arrive. The job goes to someone else. The rain starts the moment they step outside. They call it bad luck. But Scripture calls it something else. Seeing through a glass darkly. Looking through a lens clouded by past disappointments. The spiritual and scientific filter. Your outlook isn't just a mood. It's a signal. Spiritually, it's the energy you carry into every conversation, every decision, every room. Scientifically, it's shaped by the reticular activating system, the brain's filter that decides what you notice and what you ignore. Think of your RAS like a personal assistant in your mind. It's sorting through billions of details every day. Sights, sounds, opportunities, and possibilities. And it only shows you what it thinks is important to you. If your spirit believes nothing good is coming, your RAS will highlight reasons to confirm it. If you carry yourself as blessed beyond chance, your RAS will scan for open doors, divine appointments, and moments of grace. The filter doesn't have a moral compass. It doesn't decide what's good or bad. It simply follows the orders you've been giving it through your thoughts, your beliefs, and your identity. Paradigm shift. You're not cursed, you're conditioned. You were never cut off from God's favor, but over time, you may have been conditioned to miss it. Conditioned to expect things to go wrong. Conditioned to replay past hurts until they feel like the blueprint for your future. Blessings don't stop existing. They just pass right by those who aren't tuned to receive them. This is why Romans 12:2 tells us, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Renewal doesn't mean pretending. It means changing the lens you look through so you can finally see what's been there all along. Relatable story. 2 lenses, 2 realities. I once met 2 women who were both laid off from their jobs in the same week. One said, "Figures. Things like this always happen to me." She shut down, stopped applying for work, and carried a cloud of defeat into every conversation. The other said, "If this door closed, something better must be on the way." She took a week to rest, then began networking. Within a month, she had a new job, one that paid more and allowed her to work from home. Same situation, same setback, 2 different lenses, 2 entirely different outcomes. Think about that for a moment. The same event, but 2 completely different outcomes. If you want your next chapter in life to be the one where blessings find you instead of pass you by, type "I'm ready" in the comments right now. Let that be your first act of shifting your lens. Practice micro shift. Today, if you catch yourself saying, "That's just my luck," stop and replace it with, "This is where favor finds me." It may feel strange at first, but every time you override the old script, you weaken it, and your brain begins building the new one. Why this works? The more you declare and expect favor, the more your RAS and your spirit will work together to spot it. Soon, you'll start noticing things you used to overlook. The right person crossing your path. Solutions arriving in perfect timing. Small blessings multiplying into bigger ones. And each time you notice one, you confirm to yourself, "I am blessed beyond chance." You are not unlucky. You are not overlooked. You are not living outside the flow of grace. You are blessed beyond chance. And the moment you choose to see life through that lens, you'll realize favor was never far from you. It was simply waiting for you to notice. Chapter 2. Becoming the person blessings can't ignore. Blessings are not accidents. They don't just fall into random laps. They're drawn to certain people, not because God plays favorites, but because those people are already standing where favor flows. Unlucky people wait for proof they're blessed. Blessed people decide they are blessed and live from that decision. It's the difference between chasing proof and living as proof. Why identity comes first. If you believe you're not favored, you approach life cautiously. You hesitate to take risks. You question every open door. You see delays as denials and obstacles as evidence you're on the wrong path. If you believe you are blessed beyond chance, you move differently. You expect doors to open, so you walk toward them. You expect people to say yes, so you ask without fear. You expect timing to work for you, so you step forward before doubt talks you out of it. Here's the remarkable truth. Both people will be right, because life responds to the identity you project. In spiritual terms, this is as you believe, so it will be done unto you. Science layer. Faith and the self-fulfilling prophecy. Psychologists call this the self-fulfilling prophecy. It's the phenomenon where your expectations influence your behavior, and that behavior shapes your results. When you expect blessings, you naturally speak with more confidence, spot more opportunities, take more aligned actions. Those small adjustments make people more open to helping you, more willing to say yes, and more likely to involve you in their opportunities. To the outside world, it might look like luck, but you'll know it's divine alignment meeting a prepared identity. Proverbs 23:7 says, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he." This isn't just about what you think consciously. It's about the identity rooted deep in your heart. If your heart knows you are favored, your actions, your words, and your decisions will match that truth, and heaven will respond to that congruence. Two identities, two outcomes. Two people attend the same networking event. The first walks in thinking, "I never meet anyone useful at these things." They avoid conversation, glance at their phone, and leave early. The second walks in thinking, "I always meet the right person at the right time." They smile, make introductions, and follow up afterward. The first person leaves empty-handed. The second leaves with a new connection that changes their career. Same room, same opportunity. The difference wasn't the event. It was the identity each carried into it. Imagine walking into every room knowing the right people and the right opportunities are already there for you. If you're ready to carry yourself like that, starting today, drop favor in the comments. This isn't just a word. It's you telling heaven and your own mind, "I'm stepping into my prepared blessings." Practice microshift. Before any situation, a meeting, a trip, a conversation, even a casual errand, tell yourself, "I'm walking into prepared blessings." Say it out loud if you can. Notice how your posture shifts. Notice how people respond differently. This is how you begin carrying yourself as the person blessings are looking for. Why this works? When you declare and embody an identity of favor, you align your heart, your words, and your actions. This creates clarity, a clear spiritual and energetic signal. And clarity attracts. When your signal is strong, blessings don't have to search for you. They recognize you instantly. You don't stumble into favor. You embody it. The moment you decide you are blessed beyond chance, your steps align with the very blessings you've been praying for. And from that day on, you're not just hoping for proof. You are the proof. Chapter 3. The Mind God Designed for Favor. When God formed you, He didn't just give you a body and a soul. He gave you a mind wired to partner with His blessings. A mind capable of noticing, receiving, and acting on opportunities others walk right past. But here's the challenge. That same mind can be trained to miss them. Why the mind matters and favor blessings are everywhere. But if your mind is tuned to fear, lack, or defeat, those blessings can pass right in front of you without recognition. It's like trying to hear a whisper in the middle of a loud crowd. The whisper isn't gone. You just can't hear it over the noise you've been tuned to. Spiritually, this is why Romans 12:2 says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Because without renewal, your mind runs on the same patterns it's always had. And those patterns determine what you notice. The brain's filter for favor. Your RAS. The brain's gatekeeper, constantly sorting through the billions of bits of data around you and deciding what deserves your attention. If you've ever learned a new word and suddenly heard it everywhere, or thought about buying a certain car and suddenly noticed it on every street, that's your RAS in action. Now imagine training your RAS to notice favor, to spot divine alignments, to highlight possibilities instead of problems. That's not wishful thinking. It's working with the mind God designed for you. The spiritual plus scientific link. Here's where spirit and science agree. What you repeatedly focus on becomes easier for your brain to detect. In faith, we call this seeking and finding. In neuroscience, we call it neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire itself based on repeated patterns. Both point to the same truth. If you constantly expect divine alignment, you will start finding it everywhere. Relatable proof. I once knew two people who started at the same job on the same day. One complained about every small inconvenience. The other kept saying, "I'm grateful to be here. I know good things will come from this." A year later, the first person was still in the same position. The second had been promoted, not because they were more skilled, but because their mindset kept them alert to opportunities, willing to speak up and ready to step in. Was that luck? Or was it a mind trained to recognize favor when it appeared? Let's test it right now. Think of one blessing, big or small, you've experienced in the past 24 hours. It could be as simple as a kind word, an unexpected solution, or a moment of peace. Now, in the comments, type "found it." This is you telling your mind, "I see the blessing. Show me more." Practice micro-shift. Every night for the next week, write down 3 moments of alignment you experienced that day, even if they seem small. You are literally training your brain to expect more. Example: found a parking spot right in front of the store. A friend texted at the perfect moment. Remembered something important just in time. This practice doesn't create favor. It trains you to see what was there all along. You were created with a mind designed to partner with heaven's flow. It is not a random mind. It is not powerless. It can be renewed, rewired, and retuned to the frequency of blessings. And once it is, you won't just hope for favor. You'll live in it, because you'll see it everywhere. Chapter 4. The Energy of Expectation. Before a blessing arrives in your life, it often announces itself in a different way, through your expectation. Expectation is not wishing. Wishing is passive. Expectation is active. It's the spiritual posture of someone who has already made room for what's coming. Why expectation shapes experience. If you expect blessings, you unconsciously prepare for them. Your body language shifts. Your tone of voice changes. Your decisions lean toward openness instead of avoidance. But if you expect disappointment, you brace yourself. You cross your arms, tighten your jaw, hold back your enthusiasm. And even if a blessing shows up, it has to push through your resistance to reach you. Scripture says in Psalm 5:3, "In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning, I lay my requests before you and wait expectantly." Notice, it's not just asking, it's asking and expecting. The neuroscience of expectation. Your brain doesn't just react to what happens, it predicts. Scientists call this predictive coding. Your brain constantly tries to anticipate what's coming so it can prepare your body and mind. If you repeatedly expect setbacks, your brain prepares for them, physically and emotionally. If you repeatedly expect blessings, your brain prepares for that too. This is why Proverbs 23:18 says, "Surely there is a future, and your hope will not be cut off." Hope here is not a weak wish. It's a steady, confident expectation. Expectation in action. A friend of mine was invited to a conference where she didn't know anyone. She could have walked in feeling out of place and invisible. Instead, she decided on the way there, "I'm going to meet someone who changes my life today." That shift in expectation changed her entire presence. She smiled more, spoke more, listened more. By the end of the day, she'd met a woman who later became her business partner. Was that luck? Or was it her expectation, aligning her actions with the blessing that was already waiting for her? Right now, think about one area of your life where you need breakthrough. In relationships, finances, health, or purpose. Type, "I expect it," in the comments. This is you setting your spiritual and mental filter to start looking for the blessing. The atmosphere you carry. Expectation is a spiritual atmosphere. People can feel it before you say a word. Walk into a room expecting good, and you carry a lightness that draws people in. Walk in expecting rejection, and others sense it, even if they don't know why. That's why the woman in Mark 5, the one with the issue of blood, said to herself, "If I just touch his clothes, I will be healed." She expected the blessing before it arrived, and her actions followed that belief. Practice micro shift. Tomorrow morning, before you even check your phone, say out loud, "Something good is looking for me today, and I'm going to find it." Then, as you go about your day, act like someone who knows that's true, because the blessing you expect, you prepare for. You are not just a hopeful person, you are someone who expects divine alignment. And because you expect it, you prepare for it. And because you prepare for it, you receive it. From this day forward, let your energy say what your mouth hasn't even spoken yet. I am blessed beyond chance, and I'm expecting proof. Chapter 5. The nervous system of a blessed person. You can pray for blessings. You can declare blessings. You can even believe blessings are on their way. But here's the hidden truth few talk about. If your body is still living in fight or flight, you may not be able to receive them when they arrive. Why your body matters in receiving favor. The nervous system is like the gatekeeper between your mind and your reality. If it's stuck in survival mode, it will treat everything, even good things, as potential threats. It doesn't matter how much you've prayed or how clearly God has answered. If your body is trained to stay on high alert, it will either miss the opportunity or sabotage it because it doesn't feel safe. Spiritually, this is why Jesus often said, "Peace be with you," before performing miracles. He knew a calm, open state is fertile ground for receiving. The biology of resistance. When your nervous system is in fight or flight, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals narrow your focus, preparing you to fight, flee, or freeze. That's great if you're running from danger. But in everyday life, it means your attention is locked on problems, threats, and potential loss. Even when something good is right in front of you, your system can't fully relax enough to let it in. This is why some people can't enjoy blessings they've received. Their biology is still bracing for the next problem. The spiritual parallel. Isaiah 30:15 says, "In quietness and in trust shall be your strength." Quietness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means your heart and body are settled enough to notice when God is moving, and to step toward it without fear or hesitation. When your spirit says yes, but your body says danger, you create internal conflict. And that conflict can delay or distort the blessing. A missed opportunity. I once knew a man who had been praying for months for a business opportunity. When it finally came, he almost turned it down. Why? Because it felt too good. His nervous system was so used to stress, disappointment, and overwork that the calm excitement of a good thing felt suspicious. He later told me, "I realized I wasn't afraid of failure. I was afraid of peace because it felt unfamiliar." That's the cost of living in chronic fight or flight. Peace starts to feel unsafe, even when it's the very thing you've been praying for. Let's break that cycle right now. Type "peace first" in the comments to declare that you'll create the inner calm to receive what's already on its way. How blessed people regulate their nervous system. Blessed people know how to self-regulate. They understand that God's favor often flows through moments of stillness, clarity, and peace. For some, this regulation happens in prayer. For others, it's worship, deep breathing, walking in nature, or sitting quietly with Scripture. It's not about the method. It's about consistently sending a message to your body. It's safe to open your hands and receive. Science behind spiritual calm. Neuroscientists have found that slow, deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and receive state. When you slow your breath, your heart rate follows. Your cortisol levels drop. Your brain becomes more open to creative thinking and positive possibilities. Spiritually, this aligns with Psalm 46:10. "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness isn't passive. It's an active state of readiness to witness and receive God's movement in your life. Practical micro shifts for nervous system. Peace. Here are 3 simple ways to begin training your nervous system to support your blessings instead of resisting them. The breath of favor. Inhale deeply for 4 seconds. I am safe. Hold for 4 seconds. I am loved. Exhale slowly for 6 seconds. I am ready to receive. Scripture reset. Choose one verse about peace or trust. Repeat it slowly during moments of stress until your body softens. The blessing. Pause. When something good happens, no matter how small, pause for 10 to 20 seconds. Let yourself feel it in your body before rushing to the next thing. Why this works. When your nervous system is calm, your awareness widens. You see possibilities you missed before. You feel more confident making decisions. You engage with people from a place of openness rather than defensiveness. Spiritually, you move from bracing for loss to preparing for increase. And the moment you prepare, you send heaven a clear signal: I'm ready. You are not just a person who prays for favor. You are a person who makes room for it. Body, mind, and spirit. Your nervous system is not your enemy. It's your ally in receiving the blessings already in motion toward you. When you train it to feel safe in peace, you stop chasing blessings because you've become a place where blessings feel safe to stay. Chapter 6. The Social Network of Blessings. Blessings often travel on the wings of relationships. They rarely appear in isolation. More often, they arrive through people. A conversation, a recommendation, a shared opportunity. Sometimes, these people are already close to you. Sometimes, they're complete strangers. And sometimes, they're what I call divine connections. Relationships orchestrated by God for a purpose you may not yet see. Why connections carry blessings? Ecclesiastes 4:9 says, "Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor." Partnership multiplies possibility. When you walk with others in faith, their favor can spill over into your life and yours into theirs. Sociologists call this the strength of weak ties. The idea that most opportunities come not from your closest friends or family, but from acquaintances or looser connections you interact with less often. Spiritually, we can see this as a reminder that God can work through anyone to position you for blessing. The stranger who became a bridge. A friend of mine was looking for a new home, but kept hitting dead ends. One afternoon, she struck up a conversation with a woman in line at a coffee shop. Within minutes, she learned this woman's brother was a real estate agent with a listing that wasn't even on the market yet. That listing turned out to be the perfect home she'd been praying for. She didn't find it through hours of searching online. She found it through a casual, unplanned connection. To her, it felt like luck. To me, it looked like divine choreography. The spiritual assignment of relationships. Some people are in your life for comfort. Others are in your life for calling. When you pray for blessings, also pray for alignment with the right people. Those who sharpen you, challenge you, and open doors that align with your God-given purpose. Proverbs 27:17 says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." The people around you either reinforce your old story or help you step into the new one. Think back to a time when a blessing came into your life through another person. Whether a friend, a mentor, or even a stranger. Type "divine connection" in the comments to acknowledge that God can use anyone to deliver your next breakthrough. Why openness matters. If you close yourself off socially, if you only talk to the same small circle, or avoid conversations with new people, you may be limiting the channels God can use to reach you. Being approachable, curious, and generous in your interactions doesn't just create opportunities, it makes you available for blessings. Science behind social favor studies show that people are more likely to help those they feel connected to, even if the connection is minimal. A brief conversation, a shared interest, or a small act of kindness can establish enough rapport for someone to think of you when an opportunity arises. From a spiritual perspective, this mirrors the principle of sowing and reaping. Every interaction is a seed that can grow into something unexpected. Practical, micro shifts to expand your network of blessings. Revisit dormant relationships. Reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in months or years. Keep it light and genuine, no agenda. You never know what door that reconnection might open. Say yes to small invitations, even if they seem unrelated to your goals. That casual gathering or event might be where you meet someone key to your next season. Practice micro-kindness. Compliment a stranger. Offer help without being asked. People remember how you made them feel, and often repay it in unexpected ways. Why this works? Every person you meet is a potential bridge to a blessing. Not because you're manipulating relationships, but because you're living open-handed, and an open hand is easier for God to fill than a closed fist. Closing identity shift. You are not just blessed beyond chance because of what you do. You are blessed because you make yourself available for divine appointments. Every handshake, every conversation, every smile could be part of heaven's delivery route for your next breakthrough. And when you live with that awareness, you stop wondering if blessings will come and start wondering which connection they'll come through next. Chapter 7. The Practice of Blessed Thinking. Some people think blessings are a matter of luck. Others believe they're purely the result of hard work. But those who are truly blessed beyond chance know the truth. Your thoughts are the quiet architects of your reality. Before a door opens in the physical, it's unlocked in the mind. Before an opportunity appears, it's welcomed in your imagination. Blessed thinking isn't just positive thinking. It's the disciplined, daily choice to align your mental atmosphere with the reality you're praying for, even when your surroundings haven't caught up yet. This is why two people can face the same challenge and walk away with completely different outcomes. One sees a dead end, the other sees a doorway. The difference isn't the situation, it's the thinking that shaped their response. Why your mind is a blessing magnet. Philippians 4:8 urges us to think on things that are true, noble, right, pure, lovely, and admirable. This isn't just a moral guideline. It's an instruction manual for how to attract and hold on to blessings. When your thoughts are steeped in gratitude, expectancy, and possibility, you broadcast a spiritual signal. It's like a lighthouse, guiding opportunities towards you and helping you recognize them when they appear. Psychologists call this cognitive priming, the brain's tendency, the shift that opened doors. A man I once coached was convinced nothing good ever happens to me. That belief had been reinforced for years through disappointments and missed chances. We started small. Every morning, I had him write down 3 good things, no matter how tiny, that had happened in the past 24 hours. At first, it felt forced. By week 2, he was noticing opportunities he'd have missed before. By week 4, he was offered a promotion that had been in discussion for months. He just hadn't noticed the signs. His blessings hadn't suddenly appeared out of nowhere. His mind had finally tuned in to see them. Let's start tuning your mind right now. Think of one area of your life where you want to see divine favor. Type mindset shift in the comments as your declaration that your thoughts are going to match the blessings you're believing for. The spiritual side of mental habits. Romans 12:2 says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Transformation begins when you start thinking in a way that reflects your identity as someone who is already blessed. This isn't pretending or ignoring problems. It's choosing to think from faith instead of fear. Fear asks, what if it doesn't work? Faith asks, what if it does? Why blessed thinking feels unnatural at first? If you've lived in survival mode for years, optimism can feel fake. Your nervous system, as we discussed in Chapter 5, might even resist it. But here's the key. Your thoughts don't have to feel true right away. They just have to be consistent enough for your brain to start building new pathways. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. the brain's ability to rewire itself based on repeated thought patterns and experiences. Spiritually, it mirrors the principle of sowing and reaping. You sow thoughts, and over time, they grow into the harvest you see in your life. Practical, micro shifts for blessed thinking. Morning framing. Before you check your phone or read the news, speak 3 blessings you expect to see today. Example: I expect divine connections, open doors, and unexpected favor. Midday reset. At lunch or halfway through your day, take 60 seconds to notice one thing that's gone well, even if small. This keeps your brain's RAS scanning for good instead of slipping back into autopilot negativity. Night review. Before bed, list 3 ways you experience blessing today. It could be as simple as a parking spot opening up or a kind word from a stranger. This reinforces your brain's association between daily life and divine favor. Blessed thinking in action. 2 people apply for the same job. Both are equally qualified. The first spends the night before worrying about competition and imagining rejection. The second spends the evening visualizing the interview going well, praying for favor, and thanking God in advance. Even before they walk into the room, their energy, posture, and confidence are completely different. And the interviewer feels it. That's blessed thinking in motion, shaping the outcome before the outcome arrives. Your mind and spirit are in constant conversation with your environment. When your thoughts carry expectancy, your actions follow. You reach out to people more. You step into opportunities faster. You carry yourself like someone who already belongs in the room, and the room responds. Spiritually, this is walking by faith, not by sight. It's choosing to believe the blessing is yours before you have physical proof. You are not someone waiting for luck to strike. You are someone whose thoughts align with heaven's plans. Every day you practice blessed thinking. You make it harder for fear to steal your focus. You create an inner environment that welcomes favor instead of resisting it. The more you live this way, the more you'll realize you were never just lucky. You were aligned. Chapter 8. When the world doesn't understand your blessing, not everyone will celebrate your blessing. Some won't understand it, some will doubt it, and some will try to explain it away. When favor begins to flow in your life, it can stir reactions you didn't expect. You thought blessings would bring applause, but sometimes they bring whispers, side eyes, or even distance from people you care about. It's not always because they wish you harm. Often, it's because your blessing forces them to confront their own beliefs about what's possible, and that can be uncomfortable. The spiritual pattern of misunderstanding. Even in Scripture, blessings have always attracted misunderstanding. Joseph's brothers couldn't understand why he had dreams of greatness. David's own family didn't think he belonged on the battlefield where he'd eventually defeat Goliath. Jesus himself was questioned in his own hometown. Isn't this the carpenter's son? Matthew 13:55. Blessing breaks familiarity. It shifts you into places and positions that don't match people's old image of you, and not everyone will update their perspective. Why favor triggers resistance. From a psychological view, your blessings act like a mirror. When others see you walk in favor, it can either inspire them or expose their limiting beliefs. Neuroscientists call this cognitive dissonance, the discomfort we feel when reality challenges our deeply held assumptions. If someone believes life is purely about struggle and scarcity, watching you receive unexpected favor will shake that belief system. Not everyone is ready to let go of their lens, so instead, they may dismiss, downplay, or even resent what they see. The friend who pulled back. I once knew a woman named Sarah who had been praying for a new job for years. When the opportunity finally came, with a salary increase and flexible hours, she was overjoyed. But one of her closest friends barely acknowledged it. Later, Sarah learned that her friend had been applying for similar positions without success. Her blessing had unintentionally stirred up her friend's feelings of lack. This taught Sarah something important. You can't shrink your blessing to protect someone else's comfort. You can only walk in it with humility and grace. Think about one blessing you've received that others didn't understand or celebrate. Type "still grateful" in the comments as your way of saying you won't let misunderstanding steal your gratitude. How to respond. When people don't understand your blessing, stay grounded in gratitude. Your blessing came from God, not human approval. Whether people cheer or remain silent, your thankfulness keeps your heart aligned with the source. Don't over-explain. Not everyone needs the backstory or proof. Sometimes, over-explaining is just asking for validation you don't actually need. Bless them. Anyway, pray for those who struggle to celebrate with you. Your generosity, in spirit and in action, plant seeds that can shift their mindset in time. The power of quiet confidence. Luke 2:19 says of Mary, "But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart." Not every blessing needs to be broadcasted to everyone. Sometimes the most powerful way to honor what you've received is to protect it in the early stages. This doesn't mean hiding out of fear. It means stewarding your blessing with discernment until it's mature enough to stand on its own. Why this is spiritually important. When you walk in favor, you carry evidence that the kingdom of God is active in the here and now. Your life becomes a living testimony, whether others are ready to receive it or not. That's why your job isn't to convince, but to continue. Continue living with gratitude. Continue moving in obedience. Continue showing up with the same faith that opened the door in the first place. Blessings as an invitation. Here's the deeper truth. Sometimes the people who don't understand your blessing today will be the ones asking how you did it tomorrow. When your blessing is real, it leaves a trail. Over time, that trail becomes an invitation for others to step into their own season of favor. You may not see it right away, but your testimony plants a seed, and in due time, that seed will grow. You were not blessed by accident. You were blessed on purpose. Not everyone will see the hand of God in your life the way you do. And that's okay. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to walk faithfully in the path prepared for you. The more you do, the more you'll find that the people who matter will recognize the favor on your life. And those who don't will simply fade into the background. Your job? Keep walking. Keep thanking. Keep being blessed beyond chance. Chapter 9. A new way to hold hope. Hope is powerful, but the way most people hold it can be exhausting. They grip it with white knuckles, afraid to let go, as if loosening their hold will make the blessing slip away. They wait for the thing they want with a constant sense of lack, measuring every passing day as proof it isn't here yet. That isn't hope. That's anxiety disguised as faith. Real hope, the kind that fuels a blessed life, isn't about desperate holding. It's about confident resting. The difference between wanting and trusting. Wanting says, I'll believe it when I see it. Trusting says, I know it's coming because it's already mine in spirit. Hebrews 11:1 defines faith as the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That means hope isn't an empty feeling. It's a solid framework for the future you're building. When you truly hold hope, you're not anxiously counting the days. You're living today as if the blessing has already arrived, because in the spiritual realm, it has. The science of sustained hope. Neuroscientists have found that hope activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, decision-making, and goal setting. When hope is strong, your brain starts preparing pathways for the future you expect. But here's the key. Your brain can't stay in that state if you constantly feed it doubt. Hope needs consistent mental rehearsal, imagining and emotionally connecting with the outcome until your mind treats it as familiar, not far away. The woman who changed her waiting. There was a woman waiting for a healing she had prayed for over a year. At first, every day felt like a countdown clock. She was constantly scanning her body for signs that it hadn't happened yet. One day, she decided to stop obsessing over the not yet and start living in the already done. She imagined her future self healed, walking, moving, laughing without pain, and she began living small pieces of that reality now. She bought the shoes she planned to wear when she could go hiking again. She scheduled a trip 6 months away, trusting she'd be ready by then. 3 months later, her doctors confirmed significant improvement. Her body had begun to match the hope she carried. Think of something you've been hoping for, but maybe holding with worry instead of trust. Type "already mine" in the comments as your way of shifting from anxious waiting to confident receiving. Why old hope drains you. When hope is tied to desperation, it creates mental fatigue. You start thinking, if it hasn't happened yet, maybe it never will. This thinking pulls you out of alignment because the energy you carry becomes one of lack instead of abundance. Spiritually, desperate hope keeps you in the outer courts, looking in. Confident hope walks into the throne room and sits down, knowing the blessing is already settled. A new way to hold hope. Anchor in gratitude for the present. Before you look ahead, thank God for what's already here. Gratitude shifts your energy from lack to overflow, creating a fertile ground for what's coming. Live as if. Take small actions today that align with the life you're believing for. If you're hoping for a relationship, start creating space for another person in your life now, physically and emotionally. Release the timeline. Stop measuring God's faithfulness by the clock. Your role is to stay aligned and available, not to micromanage divine timing. Hope and the nervous system. From a physiological standpoint, desperate hope keeps your nervous system in a mild state of stress. Your body releases cortisol, the stress hormone, which can make you more reactive, less patient, and more likely to give up. Confident hope, on the other hand, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the state of rest and restoration. When you're at peace, your mind is clearer, your body is more receptive to healing, and your decisions flow from wisdom instead of fear. Biblical perspective on steady hope. Romans 8:25 says, "But if we hope for what we do not yet have, we wait for it patiently." Patience here isn't passive. It's an active, peaceful readiness. It's saying, whenever it arrives, I'm ready. And in the meantime, I'm living as if it's already here. Practical exercise. Hope rehearsal. For the next 7 days, take 5 minutes in the morning to visualize your desired outcome. Not just seeing it, but feeling it. The relief, the joy, the gratitude you'll have when it's yours. End by saying, "Thank you, Lord, that this is already settled in the unseen. I am simply walking toward what you've already placed in my path." You are not waiting for hope. You are living in it. You don't have to hold it with desperate fingers, afraid it will slip away. From this moment forward, your hope will be anchored, steady, and life-giving. It will not drain you. It will strengthen you. And as you live in that energy, you'll see that blessings don't just arrive. They grow toward you, drawn by the confidence of a heart at rest. Chapter 10. The Overflow Life. The ultimate sign that you are blessed beyond chance isn't just what you receive, it's what flows out of you. True blessing isn't a reservoir, it's a river. When you live in overflow, you're not just collecting favor for yourself, you're becoming a conduit for that favor to reach others, in ways you may never fully see or measure. Why overflow matters. Psalm 23 verse 5 says, "My cup overflows." An overflowing cup doesn't have to try to share. It naturally spills into every life it touches. When you operate from overflow, you don't give from emptiness or obligation. You give from abundance because your needs are already met. This shift changes everything. You stop asking, "Can I afford to help?" and start asking, "How can I not?" You stop fearing lack because you've seen how easily blessings replenish when your heart is open. The science of overflow. From a neuroscience perspective, living in overflow keeps your brain in a state of high coherence, where your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned. When this happens, the brain produces more alpha and gamma waves, which are associated with creativity, intuition, and problem solving. You think more clearly. You sense opportunities faster. You recover from challenges more quickly. And perhaps most importantly, your energy becomes magnetic to people and situations that match your generosity. The man who kept giving. There was a man named James who ran a small cafe. Business was steady, but not extraordinary, until he made a decision. Every Friday, he would give away one free coffee to anyone who needed it, no questions asked. At first, it was a handful of people. Then word spread. The cafe became a local hub, a place known for kindness as much as coffee. Within a year, James's business doubled. Customers didn't just come for coffee, they came to be part of the blessing. Overflow had turned his small act of generosity into a multiplying force. Think of one way you can bless someone this week. No strings attached. Type, "I'll pour out" in the comments as your way of declaring that your blessings will never end with you. The spiritual law of circulation. Jesus said in Luke 6:38, "Give, and it will be given to you. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." This isn't just about money. It's about kindness, encouragement, time, and wisdom. When you pour into others, you stay connected to the source of all blessing. And because that source is infinite, the flow never truly stops. How to live the overflow. Life recognize your current overflow. You may already have more than you think. In skills, encouragement, or resources, start with what you have now, not what you wish you had. Give without agenda. Overflow is pure when it's not tied to expectation. Trust that your generosity will return in ways you can't predict. Stay filled. You can't pour from an empty cup. Stay connected to God's presence, gratitude practices, in the people who replenish your spirit. Overflow protects you from scarcity. Scarcity says, if I give, I might not have enough. Overflow says, if I give, it will make room for more to come. From a psychological standpoint, this mindset keeps you out of the fear-based decision-making that limits creativity and opportunity. When you believe in overflow, your actions naturally expand your capacity to receive. Blessed beyond chance means blessed beyond self. The journey you've taken through this audiobook, from shifting your lens to expecting favor to holding hope differently, has all been leading here. You were never meant to just receive blessings. You were meant to become a blessing. This is the identity of the truly favored. They don't just live in abundance. They create it for others. You are now walking in a life where blessings are not accidents. They are not coincidences. They are the natural outflow of who you are and who you've chosen to become. From this day forward, your cup will never run dry. Not because life will always be easy, but because you've learned the secret. Stay connected to the source. Give freely. Live in overflow. You are not blessed by chance. You are blessed on purpose. And now, you are the purpose behind someone else's blessing. You've walked this journey, chapter by chapter, not just to learn something new, but to remember something eternal. You are not a random recipient of good fortune. You are living proof that there is a divine pattern to your life. We began by shifting your lens, learning to see the hand of God in what others call coincidence. We explored the mindset that attracts favor, the way thoughts set the atmosphere of your life, and how unseen laws respond to unseen faith. We discovered how to hold hope without draining our spirit, how to walk confidently when others don't understand our blessing, and how to let that blessing overflow to others. Every step of the way, you've been shown that favor is not a lucky accident. It's alignment, it's expectation, it's identity. From this moment forward, may you wake each morning knowing you are blessed before your feet hit the floor. May you notice the quiet ways the universe bends in your favor. A conversation, a door opening, an idea arriving at just the right time. May you stop measuring blessings by size and start recognizing them by presence. And when you encounter seasons of waiting, may you rest in the certainty that what is yours cannot be lost. When the world questions your blessing, may you smile and remember, they don't need to understand it for it to be real. And when your cup overflows, may you pour it out freely, knowing there is no shortage in the kingdom you walk in. You are blessed beyond chance, blessed in ways you can count, and in ways you never will. Blessed not because you fought harder, but because you aligned deeper. Blessed not by accident, but by design. Now, step into your days with the quiet authority of one who knows. The blessing is already yours. The favor is already flowing. The path is already prepared. And from here on out, you will never walk alone, and you will never walk empty.